coming here to just, oh, okay, I'll just be chilling and just do the masters. You're about to enter one chance. Hello guys, like I have really missed filming for YouTube. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Dr. Linda Odo, and on this channel I talk about everything ranging from motherhood to career to lifestyle to my all-time favorite hobby, which is DIYs. So if you're new to this channel, you're welcome to the channel, and please try to subscribe as well as watch other previous videos. Everything we have on this channel is nothing but premium content. But if you have been visiting the channel, it's good to have you back to the channel. So guys, today we're talking about something very special. I am excited to talk about this because it's been a video that I've been thinking that I would have done earlier, but then one thing or the other keeps coming up. But guess what, this is a very right time for this particular video because I just finished my second year in my distance learning master's program, and it's been a tough journey so far, a journey that has actually taught me consistency, because doing a distance learning program it takes more than just what it looks like on the outside. So this just feels like the right time to share with you guys 10 tips I found very helpful on this journey. So if you're someone trying to do a distance learning program, if you're someone who is already on one and you probably think you might have some areas you need to improve on, then you can just you're taking it from a pro. This video is for you. So I started my master's program in 2 years ago under the Commonwealth distance learning scholarship program, and for that 2 years period I had to take some series of courses that are relevant to my career goals and also part of what the program covers. So I did a master's in public health, or I'm currently running a master's in public health. I have about just some months left to go to round up my dissertation, and then I would have my MPH in the bag. So guys, if this is something you want to know how my journey has been, I have summarized it in 10 tips that will really help you if this is a path that you're currently on. All right, and if you'd like to see a video later on the Commonwealth Distance Learning Scholarship Program and how it goes, then you can just put that in the comment section and I'll have that drop for you later on the channel. Now I think this is actually my first career related video, and I hope to bring more of it your way in the coming weeks. Now let's get right into it. So the very first tip I'll be dropping is this, guys: erase the misconception. So there's this school of thought or this idea that when you're going for a distance learning program, like an online program, let me just use another word for it, aka online program, an online master's, you need to know that a master's is a master's. You're going to become a master in a field or in an area or in a niche that you are interested in pursuing as your goal. So this is not somebody putting pressure on you to go and school, nada. You are trying to acquire technical skills that you would use in your career path, and you know the kind of quality that you want to bring to the table when you're called to the boardroom, stuff like that. So you are going to remember that a master's is a master's. It doesn't matter if you're doing it offline or online. If you really want to make good grades, I'm sorry, but you have to be serious. It's not a joke. Like, it's not a joke. Don't assume because it's distance learning it's supposed to be easier. Yes, it's flexible, but that flexibility is also challenging, because if you do not manage your time well, if you do not coordinate yourself well and plan well, try to balance work and school and every other thing that you're probably doing, you'll be running short of time. The assessments are going to be coming up and you are not ready to tackle them. Now, I'm saying this because there are times when you have to follow the activities week by week. Like for my school, there were some courses that we had to take week by week, because if you miss out on the week, you miss out on the discussion, and those discussion boards come with marks. So you will see that it's on your neck. You have to be intentional about sticking to the timetable that you have set out for yourself. So if you think you're coming here to just, oh, okay, I'll just be chilling and just do the masters. You're about to enter one chance. So you just have to come out of that ride. It doesn't work that way. It is serious, it is demanding, and it's going to test your consistency. It's going to test your determination to do what you're doing. And even if you ask me, I think you might have to go the extra step, because there are things you would want to mitigate. Some things that are the obvious cons of doing a distance program or an online program. If you really want to mitigate that and make sure it doesn't affect you, then you will see that you're taking like 3 steps. Now, my second tip, defining the apparent cons. So for me, the thing I struggled the most with was, okay, I'm doing a distance learning program. How am I going to network? How will I meet people and all of that? And I started this program just around the COVID period, so it kind of even made it more complex. But then there was something interesting that happened around that same time as well. So with COVID, a lot of people were adapting to online platforms. And I feel like it opened a window of opportunity for me, because then I started looking for how to make the very best of my program. And that means that you don't just have to rely on your school timetable, your school mail, your school Blackboard platform, if you have that in your school, or any other platform they've created on their websites for students to interact. We had to move out our community from that space to the WhatsApp space, where we know that people are often available to interact, so that it's not when you post a message today, someone responds in 5 years time. And so with the WhatsApp platform, we're able to have timely engagement, like kind of lively interactions, because then people are giving feedbacks immediately, and you're asking questions and you're connecting and things like that. So part of the apparent cons, which is that you're not able to network with friends, you can mitigate that by putting yourself out there more, engaging on the social media platforms, answering questions when people ask. And if for any reason you happen to be traveling to that state or the country where your school is, try to engage with the people who are there. So that was, for me, my most concerned con. And I think I did a great job trying to mitigate all of that by leveraging on social media platforms, using the school mail as much as possible to interact with your lecturers. If you happen to travel to the area, you also try to liaise with your lecturers to see your classmates, build a network, talk about what you're interested in, what is it that drives you, what are you working on, how can you partner with someone, how can you collaborate with someone. And then the last part of it was, I feel like people should be open to taking up opportunities that present themselves with your school. So if you are a distance learning scholar, erase that from your mind, because once there's a website, everybody who is a student is open to the opportunities that are there for most schools. Even schools who do not have that already, I believe that if you voice out and say, I'm a distance learning scholar, so I believe I should have access to this opportunity. Sometimes they haven't just thought about it, but when you mention that, they would have that understanding that there's a need for inclusiveness for the students who are not within the campus. And trust me, you might just be the game changer in that aspect. So open up your mind to take up opportunities that come your way. Whatever it is that's going to help you mitigate that apparent con, I am advising that you jump on it. 3, guys, you have to wake up early. Now, this might not work for everyone, because everyone is not an early bird, but for me, I figured that when I wake up early, I'm able to do my schoolwork before my actual day starts. And when my actual day starts, it just flows like my usual day, but then I've done my schoolwork. I figured also that whenever I leave my work till the evening, I am exhausted, and your schoolwork is something that needs a lot of mental work, kind of trying to understand new concepts, discuss it, come up with notes and all of that. So I figured that doing it in the evening was not giving me the kind of quality I wanted, and then I had to just resign my fate to doing it in the morning. So basically, if the morning doesn't work for you, then pick a time that will work for you. Just make sure that you have that time. You have that time set out. That is a quiet time where you're functioning like your best for your schoolwork. 4 is reducing your distractions. So basically, it can be challenging, because most times when people are doing online programs, they are working or they have a family to care for, and then they have schoolwork to attend to. So I totally understand that that can be quite challenging. I mean, I'm not just understanding it because, you know, I have experienced it. I know what it feels like. So really, you have to just find a way to juggle and see that that time doesn't have distractions. So this is why it still brings me back to morning hours, because for me, morning hours, kids are sleeping, no work to distract you. It's just you and the silence of the night, and then you're able to do one or two things before the day breaks, and that was really helpful for me. So you might as well, you know, consider that. Next on my list is sticking to the timetable. So usually when you're doing a distance learning program, there's an outline. Okay, this is what's happening in this week, this is what's happening in the second week, and in the third week, and in the fourth week. I would usually advise that you stick with that timetable. It can be challenging and daunting, you know, trying to stick with the timetable when no one is there to. Sometimes peer-to-peer learning that happens with, you know, people around you are moving forward. Oh, I'm left behind and stuff. That doesn't happen because you're all in your space, except when you come to the media platforms and say, oh, I'm being left behind. And everyone's like, oh, you need to do this better, you need to do this better, this is what can help you, this is what resource you can use to catch up, and all of that. But in most cases, you might not have that happening for you frequently. You need to find a way to checkmate yourself. So you could just say, okay, Mondays and Tuesdays, I catch 50% of the work. Wednesdays and Thursdays, I catch the other percentage. That way, you're able to keep track of your timetable, and you don't have a situation whereby 4 weeks have passed and you haven't opened anything, and before you know it, assessments are around the corner and you are left behind. So basically, I figured that sticking with the timetable, if I have to do a study, I would say, and I'm sure that this study would come out positive, because people who stick to their timetable, I would say that they are more likely to make good grades, because then you're not trying to read under pressure or in a hurry, and then not only are they more likely to make good grades, they are more likely to, you know, have that knowledge as part of them going forward, and not just as something they learned to pass an exam. And I mean, what's the whole essence of doing a master's program if you're not going to have like the knowledge ingrained inside of you? So guys, if you're doing this, you need to stick to your timetable. It's really not negotiable, if you ask me, except you just want to, you know, just get a degree and move out. But if you really want to have something of quality at the end of the day, and if you want to end up very knowledgeable about the concept, then you need to stick to that timetable. Guys, you need to engage. You need to engage. Like, it's not even negotiable, really, because you can do it, like I said, without having to engage and all of that. But really, at the end of the day, how do you pass your master's program? You don't have like one person in your school who knows you as their student, who recognizes you, who you could reference, or who could reference you for something. And the whole idea is that when you're done with the master's program, you've opened up more opportunities related to jobs and climbing and all of that. So it wouldn't make any sense that after doing the master's program, because you did it online, when someone is asking you to put a reference, you're putting your university lecturer in your reference letter, or your university professor alone in your reference letter. Meanwhile, you did a master's program. One of the things that authenticates the fact that you've done a distance learning program and you did it well is the fact that at least one person from your school, or two, or people from your school will be able to say, oh, this person, I know this person, I taught her, she was my student and she was this good. So you need to engage via those mails, via whatever. Host a virtual session with your lecturer, try to interact with them. If they have virtual events in your school, attend them. Attend them. If there's a conference coming up and you can afford to travel for it. If you can't, then make sure that you are noticed as much as possible during that virtual event. Now, this engagement doesn't just stop within your school. There are positions that are available for you as distance learning scholars, student rep, you know, whatever it is that will make you be closer to interaction with the people who run the show in your school. I would advise that you leverage on them, you make maximum use of them, so at the end of the day, you aren't just coming out with a certificate, you're coming out with a whole lot more than just that certificate. So the next tip is about taking up all opportunities. This is tip number 7. Take all the opportunities, like take everything, take it all, because I mean, what's stopping you? The worst thing that would happen is that you try and it doesn't work. But when you try and it doesn't work, you learn. and whatever you've learned takes you to the next phase. But what happens when you don't try is that you remain at the same level. Nothing changes. Everyone moves on. So take all the opportunities. So when I started my distance learning program, the first thing I kind of did was say to myself, okay, these are the cons. These are the things that I think, these are the reasons why I would have preferred to be on campus. But since that is not happening, how do I make sure that those things do not kind of like affect the output at the end of the day? And that's when I started searching for engagement opportunities, whatever it is that could make sure that I do not feel that gap of network building. And I would say that I've been quite successful at it. Sometime last year, that's in the first year of my program, I got engaged in a competition with people who are on campus, and I got second place in that competition and got funding for my social enterprise called Healthify Africa. So it's been a very rewarding journey, if you ask me. Very rewarding. Like, I wouldn't have imagined when starting that program that I would have had those kind of, highlights in my study process. But it's been that way because I've been kind of looking, I've been intentional about making sure that I engage, I take up every opportunity, I don't miss out on anything just because I'm off campus. And really, I feel like with that mindset, there is no limitation to it really. You can literally just point out all those cons and smash them down. Yeah. So I would advise you to also approach it that way if you find yourself in something similar. So I think I've talked about everything, but I'm still going to be dropping them tip by tip. So my number eight tip is make it part of you, that before, if your program is for 2 years or 3 years or 1 year, before that program cycle runs off, you have to attend a school event. Guys, I think this is very serious because it kind of builds up on everything. So you've been interacting with people, meeting people, and then finally you go to school and then you meet them physically and you're like, okay, let's consolidate all the talk that has been happening. Now, if you can't do that, it's fine. But if you can, I would encourage you to take up that opportunity. Be it a conference, or be it a meeting, or be it a hybrid form of your study where you have to take some weeks on campus. If you can't afford it, then please, I urge you seriously to take up that opportunity. Number 9, remember I talked about allocating time, morning hours and stuff like that. You have to protect that time. Sisters and brothers, don't let village people come for you. Okay, I'm kidding, right? But like, what I'm trying to say is that sometimes, a lot of times I had to battle with sleep, and I have this behavior in me. I'm constantly reviewing what I've done to see why it didn't give me the expected outcome. So waking up in the morning, I'm like, why is it that every time throughout this whole week I slept off, and when I wake up again, maybe it's about an hour 30 minutes later, and then I have to get to another thing. So be sincere with myself. I wake up and I sit down in bed and try to read. It wasn't working, so I had to wake up, stand up, go and wash my face, and then find a seat to start reading. Sometimes I wake up, I have my alarm by my bedside, and I put it off right away, and then I sleep for another 1 hour 30 minutes. So what I did was take that phone, keep it at a distance, so that by the time it starts ringing and disturbing my sleep, I will have to get up and put it off. Now by getting up, I kind of get away with the drowsiness a little bit, and then I'm like, okay, time to wash my face. Then I can get to my reading table. So this was just basically me trying to protect that time and make sure that the time gives me the maximum results that I'm hoping to get from it. And so far, I think it's been working. I think it's still working. And all these things I've learned have helped improve my life generally, because like when school is on holiday, I have another task I want to work on. I just say, okay, apply the same principles here and there. And I've always had good outcomes with them. So I think you should adopt this if you are currently on a distance learning program or an online program. Number 10, and the oga pata of them all, guys, you need to join local groups. So let me use a master's in public health as an example. Doing a master's in public health, you're learning new concepts that would really make a lot of sense if you're already in that field. Now, if your job is not public health oriented already, you might find out that you would be relying on a lot of theory and other people's experiences and shared experiences as well. So one thing you can do for yourself is try to engage in your community. Try to join volunteer groups that already do the work that you are currently learning how to do, and that way you're able to, like, take it from the learning environment straight into the field. You're learning and relearning and unlearning at the same time, and applying all that you're learning immediately, which helps you consolidate the learning process even better. So guys, if you are doing this program and you don't have anywhere to apply it, I urge you to find a way to apply it. Start a project, join a volunteer group. If you need to switch jobs, but that's not very easy in our setting, then you have to do that, just so that you can make sure that excuse me, just so you can make sure you're applying on the go. I really think that would help your long-term plan of having a perfect outcome or a great outcome from your learning process. And also, it also helps you build your portfolio, so why not? So guys, these 10 tips, they have been my game changer. They've done me so well, and now we can say that this 2 years has been quite successful. I'll drink to this. Cheers. So I just have my dissertation to go and I'll be done with my program, and really I think that anybody who applies this will have a good outcome. Now, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, this is the point where you click the subscribe button, and don't forget to put on the alarm so that whenever I post a video, you will be in the know. Lastly, if you think that you would love to know more about the Commonwealth Distance Learning Scholarship and all other online scholarship programs that are available for you, then put a comment in the comment section, and then I will, prepare towards giving you premium content on that. Definitely, that's all I do, premium content. So guys, thank you for watching, and don't forget to share this video with whoever you think might need it. Do have a lovely evening.